Cruz, and I love Molly Sleuth.
I am the eyes and ears of this institution. Mama don't like tattletales. Who knows? In 1,000 years, even you may be worth something.
Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Room for one more penny.
Today we face the monsters that are at our door.
I think we live in overstimulated times.
Happy Friday. Hi, friend. I'm excited to have you back.
Yes.
Happy Friday, everybody in Chatland. We're over on Rumble, YouTube, and Pilled, but typically the live chat's over on Rumble. That's where we've got all the emotes. I'm really liking that roller skating one. That's a pretty good one. Happy summer, Rod.
Yeah, it certainly is summer, isn't it? It's nice and hot here.
I can never be too hot. Bring it on. Hence my fireside chat. Why didn't anyone tell me that World Goth Day is a thing?
That's right. Happy Goth Day.
Thing? Hi, Red Bike. Rod, do you celebrate World Goth Day?
I did not know about it until this morning.
I'm not
didn't know
sure what
that.
it was. I think I had my goth card revoked. I think I was wearing like too many monsters, too much neon. I don't really know, but they were doing it before it was cool. Listen, like I got kicked out of Disneyland for wearing too much makeup. Now they make millions of dollars a year doing Bath Day in the park. So they still hate you. They'll just suck it up and take your money once a year. Well, anyway, I am Molly Sleuth. I was a teenage shitbag, and then I was an LAPD cop, and I taught interview and interrogation, body language, and lie detection. We're going to get into that tonight, going over the Candace Owens interview of Hunter Biden. We'll talk about that later. We're also going to talk about Tulsi Gabbard and Thomas Massie, the Austin shooter, some other news stories. And so we're going to have a good time. So if you want to get in the chat and bring up your favorite current event, I probably don't know about it because I've been quite busy with the Fire Academy. Rod, when are you coming to Fire Academy?
When am I coming to Fire Academy?
Yeah, come to the Fire.
I don't think I'll be doing that.
Academy.
With those young 20-year-old guys, I don't think I can keep up with that.
Well, so I've been done with the academy for a couple years, and but now we're going through this whole engineering thing where we're trying to get to the next level of expertise. I got nothing to prove to anybody in this world. So last night we're crawling around through this like maze. It's super fucked up. It's totally pitch black. I go in with one of our new guys who is an itty bitty little thing. And so he's just like crawling all through this. And we get to this tiny little tube and he's just like through it. And I like dive my head into it and I get wedged. And I'm like, shit, what do I do? So I'm able to like wiggle back out. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Like I try to get in there again. And everybody's like, you can do it. You can do it. Like, this isn't mental, fuckers. Like, this is too many Mexican pizzas. Like, screw it up, right? Oh, just in case friend. Hi. Oh my gosh, 10 subscriptions. That's so nice of you.
Oh.
Holy Friday, Batman. Thank you. Let's see if those get scooped up over on Rumble. So yeah, so I get stuck in there. I get wedged like a fat ass, and they're like, you can do it. Like, no, it's called measurements. And because you have your pack on, you have like all this stuff inside your pockets and everything. And so anyway, whatever, shenanigans. And we were just sweating, and we have a new kid, and he got to like put his stuff on for the first time yesterday, and he was all fun. I wanted to show you a couple of pictures. These are dumb, just because today I walked out into the bay, and the boys decided to take out the jaws of life, which are just hydraulic spreaders and cutters. Well, they weren't using the cutters, but the hydraulic tools, and they were playing a game of Jenga with the they're playing a game of Jenga with our hydraulic tools. And about 2 seconds after he tried to bite one too low, boom, he done fucked up. So that was pretty fun. And always
Does he owe everybody a Slurpee for that?
Huh?
Does he owe everybody a Slurpee for that?
No, you only owe a Slurpee. So you owe a Slurpee if you hit the curb with the fire truck, and you owe the station pizza if you're on the news. That's how it works. There's nothing about Jenga. It's just for pride. But it's so cool because he turns everything into something competitive, which anybody that knows me knows I love to like openly cheat at games to make people that are really competitive like work really hard, because I don't care if I lose. Like, I'd rather lose really big. So I make all these like crazy, I love playing board games, and I make all these like crazy risks in games. And like I've actually won sometimes, like doing stuff where everybody's like, what are you doing? I'm like, who cares? Let's just do it. Hey, Pammy over on YouTube, Molly with your detective skills. You'd be a really good fire marshal. Well, we'll see about that. The guy has a couple more years to go. I'm not kicking him out of his chair. He's a fucking legend. He hosted this whole training last night. He was the one telling me that my fat ass could get through this like tiny little tube. I did get through the tube, but I had to put my pack first, and then I got yelled at. Never to separate from your pack. I'm like, I'm still holding on to it. It's the whole thing. It's sort of like when I was a cop. There's just a million ways to slice it. So everybody has their like, oh, but this could happen and that could happen. So you never know. I need a Molly Sleuth decoder ring. Actually, you're in luck. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I went to Sticker Mule and I had these little pins made. Can you see that? It's me as a zombie. I don't know. My camera is nothing but the best. That $5 on Walmart would buy me. So I do have some pins. Send me some Top Ramen money and I will mail you one. Yes. So, all right. Well, there's lots of terrible news this week. I have my housewarming tomorrow. Finally, like people are going to see all the work that I've done. I was still painting in the basement this morning. I have some varnishing to do tomorrow. Like, I'm not done. And anything that can happen does to me, Rod. So there was just like, okay, you guys think that my house is haunted. I don't think that my house is haunted. However, I was down on the floor cleaning, as you do, and there was all these like wet paper bags that I was hoarding for paper bag things, And I was like, where is this all coming from? The utility sink in the laundry room was just like pissing water. Like, what happened now? Why does everything happen to me? Like, I have people coming over in like 24 hours. So anyway, there's like a piece and it should like really marry up with this other piece, but it was just like barely there, right? And I'm like, it couldn't, first of all, it wasn't moved. The utility sink is totally bolted down. Second, like, how did it move? Like, nothing has moved. So I take the whole kit and caboodle to Lowe's. They were super nice. And he's like, it's backwards. It's not supposed to be like that. I'm like, it can't be backwards. Like, this sink has worked. I've lived here a year. The sink has worked for a year. Just all of a sudden, well, it's backwards now. Like, who put my pipe on backwards? Like, the ghosts are changing my pipes? Stupid. So dumb. Anyway, so I'll be doing some plumbing, which is why I'm getting caffeinated. Actually, I bought some, like, energy drink. Usually I don't need any energy drink because I'm like a Tasmanian devil naturally. So God only knows what's going to happen to me when I turn it up to 11. Do you have any fun plans for the holiday?
I am taking all 3 days off, so that's fun. I usually work on the holidays, but I'll be doing that. Tomorrow I will be fixing my what do you call it, water filtration system, because I had the same kind of thing happen to me about a week ago. I wake up in the morning, I come out of my bedroom, I'm walking towards the kitchen, and I'm looking at the kitchen floor, and it looks like there's a layer of glass over the top. I'm like, what is that? And it was water, like just standing water all across my kitchen, because I guess my filtration system, the filter must be clogged, and it backed up, and the pressure built up so much that it blew out the seal, and it was just, I opened the kitchen cabinets under the sink, and it's just spraying out water.
Why does it do this to us? Doesn't it understand? Like, just leave me alone. It's too much.
The joys of being a homeowner, I guess.
I know, I guess, but plumbing is one of those things that I'm like, they shouldn't sell houses to single women. Like, this is really, like, we need to stop letting women vote and selling them houses and stuff and letting us pump our own gas and everything else. Because I just feel so dumb. It's like, I don't know, there's water coming out where there shouldn't come out. Like, how would I look at a tube that goes like this and go, oh, it should go like that? Like, that's not.
Yeah, I don't understand. How is it backwards? If it's just a piece of pipe, how is it pipe backwards? It's the same both ways.
It's not. There's one that's like a gentle and one that's like more of a real curve.
Oh.
That's, I believe, the official plumbing terminology. So
I wonder, how did someone install it backwards, and how has it worked for so long, and now all of a sudden it doesn't?
It didn't drip at all when I put those paper bags under there a year ago, because these were paper bags from the people I bought the house from, and I'm like, oh, these are handy. I could use them for something. Let me just like hoard them over here. And they've been dry for a year, and now I'm gonna have a party. And it was like, oh, really? And then the ghost decided to fuck with me. There's no ghost. I do have a sticker mule. It's under Molly Sleuth, but I think you'd have to buy like a bunch of pins. So I could just send you one. I could send you this one.
Do they have a minimum that you have to buy?
They do sometimes. Like with a t-shirt, I got some weird stuff on there. I made like stickers and I made some t-shirts. Actually, like somebody bought one of my t-shirts on there. I was really surprised. Who wants that? Because I just put stuff on there, like whatever, because it's fun. Yeah. And Redbeck says, I was trying to replace a spigot and wound up needing to replace pipes. Don't even tell me that. I don't even want to know that. That sounds expensive, and I'm not ready for that. I just put chips on a credit card. So don't be talking to me about replacing shit inside the wall. Not ready for that. And
wait till you have to replace your water heater. You talk about expensive. My God.
Don't tell the ghost.
So the ghost might hear.
Don't you fucking dare tell the ghost. Yes, my life sucks, and too bad, because I send my Cash App to like every horny guy on Facebook, and like they never send me anything. You know, I mean, you never know. Maybe I would send you like a little picture of my foot or something for, you know, $1, but they never do. They just are like the thumbs up. This is what I decided, Rod. I haven't told anybody this. They always send the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. I think it might be phallic. That's what I think.
Because, yeah, it's probably about the size of their dick, right?
Don't know. You're picturing it. I'm not. But that's what I think it is. Because, like, otherwise, what's the thumbs up for? I don't understand that. Minimum 500 orders so everyone get going. Yeah, right. Well, I'm not Candace Owens, bro. But we are going to talk about her tonight. And I have some screenshots. We're going to be going over the body language, which I'm super excited about. But first, let's talk about Tulsi Gabbard, because that's like the hottest news. And yeah, she resigned. So what do you think about it?
I don't know what to think, because for me, it's always about the timing, and for it to happen right now, right after they just kicked Massie out, and then the next day, oh, you know what, I resigned. That to me is just like, no, there's something that's not right. There's something going on there.
Yeah, and then also wasn't her office raided and like some staffers quit and there was like some other stuff going on?
And I mean, there's rumors that she's been forced out, that people are, telling her you have to resign. But I mean, those aren't substantiated. There's still just rumors. But looking at everything that's been happening, and now Massie, and now she's gone, and it just looks wrong.
Okay, so the one thing that really stuck out to me was her letter. Yes, I know, Red Bike, that her husband has cancer, but let you pontificate this for a moment. Her letter is talking about her husband, and she says he faces major challenges in the coming weeks and months. And that's why I'll be resigning in 6 weeks. Like, June 30th is not effective immediately. And I get that she wants to do the right thing and like get a good reference for her next employer or whatever. Like, this is your husband, and if you're leaving your job because he has bone cancer and we only might have a couple of weeks left, so the letter doesn't say, is he stage 4? Is it operable? Is it in his little toe and like we're just going to cut it off and like not worry about it? Is it, in his like chest wall? Like, we don't know. I'm definitely not a pontiff. All right, you. But to say you have to resign to care for him makes it sound serious, but then to say in 6 weeks I'll care for him makes it sound like not serious. I don't know, it just is incongruent for me. And that was like, not to mention she has been, I don't know, like what, I guess I would put her in like the punk rock category of people who are sort of like, yeah, I'm all for Trump the honey badger. Like, wait, whoa, who's this Trump? The Massies, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, everybody. She was selling no war with Iran shirts and then got raided and all the stuff. So I'm just not a fan of that. Like, I'm already black-pilled. You can't make me any more black-pilled. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, except I just don't like June 30th. I mean, so we have a couple guys at my work with cancer. It's just a firefighter thing. And like, if they had to go, they would just go. Like, they might just tell you, like last night, there was a structure fire and I run to the station, I'm throwing on my gear and I'm running to the truck and the truck just drove off. I was like, dicks. 5 more seconds and you could have somebody else. Anyway, whatever. These things happen. But yeah, that's just, I don't know. But okay, so speaking of Massie, yeah, a lot of people have been talking about it. That he didn't win his race and that they are, Trump was very open about getting rid of him because he's not slurping the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And that's just not the punk rock thing. And I think this is going to be like a Seinfeld episode where once we get to Candace, like this is all going to kind of fucking make sense. Because I think it's all one thing. I don't see this as like multiple fires. I see this as like one fucking problem that we have. And to dump anyone that's not just totally jerking your shit, to me, is like a super problem. I can't imagine kicking anybody out of my life because they're not completely, totally on board with everything I think and do and say and believe. And I get that it's totally different in politics, but also it's kind of not. And I sort of long for the day when our founders had other fucking jobs to do and weren't, put on these like crazy pedestals, like, Elvis. making girls faint and with millions of dollars and trays of Coke. And I don't know how you return to civil servants.
Yeah, I mean, most of them don't. They just camp out and they make a career out of it, which is not, it was never, that was never what it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be, you see something you need fixed, you run for office, you get in there, you work on it for a year or two, you get it fixed, and then you go back to your life. You don't sit there for 40 years collecting a paycheck and you know, your into insider trading and all the money, the sponsorships and the donors, and they just keep collecting this money and they just keep sitting there. It's not, it was never supposed to be that way. That's why I'm such a big advocate for term limits. We got to put a cap on it. You can't do any more than this.
Yeah, but then if you get somebody good in, like I see the point of keeping somebody that's effective.
How often do we get a good one? How often do we get a good one? It's very rare.
I don't know. I'm just saying if. And I don't, did you see that Massie, when he did his like concession speech, was like, oh yeah, sorry it took me so long. Like I had to call my opponent, but it was hard to get a hold of him in Tel Aviv. I was like, oh geez. And people were like,
did you see the crowd that he had as opposed to the crowd that what's his name had?
Yeah, and what's his name is exactly the fucking point.
Yeah, who knows who this guy is? Never heard of him.
Because even Trump said his name like it was the first time those words had ever exited his lips.
Yeah.
And even like Tucker Carlson was like saying, you know, who's this fucking guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not like I feel like politics is sort of the nucleus to a lot of shit that goes on terribly in our lives. When it's good, we don't notice it. When it's bad, that's all we notice. But I just don't know like what we do about it. I was never a political person. I don't know that I'm necessarily political now. I just believe that the world needs to be better than it is. But Tucker was saying how this is going to be a really good thing, that they kicked him out. Like, you're no longer, you know, in the cool group, you're out. He said it's going to be a good thing in the end because it's really going to show that both sides went too far. So the left, I mean, I was a default Democrat for many years of my life. I'm still not really in a party. I'm sort of homeless, like whoever floats my boat. But now, like, I'm just at a point where, like, what does it fucking matter if I vote? Like, they'll just tell you whatever, and you're like, oh, that's the guy, or that's the girl. And then they're just like, anyway, about that. And then they just do whatever the fuck they want. So, like, what's the point? And I don't know if, like, you were blackpilled before I was, but you're not good for me because you don't make me feel very hopeful about the world. So, but anyway, but Tucker was saying how, you know, both sides went too far. And with the left, it just like got so crazy where you got like, you know, dudes flopping their tits out on the White House lawn and just like all this madness that was going on where it's like, fuck, I worked at like sex clubs that weren't this open. Like, and this is the White House. Like, we're supposed to be a little more refined. But now you have this kind of like rhino witch hunt going on in the Republican Party where it's like, okay, you're Republican, but you're not Republican enough. And like Massie had totally, well, mostly in the 90 percentile was like voting for everything. Yes, I'll help pass this. I'll help pass this. And then all of these pork programs were getting thrown in, like the big, beautiful bill. And he's just like, bro, I can't sign this. This looks great, but like, what is page 1004 to 1092 and what is page 200 and whatever? Like, you can't just throw everything in there. And he was a big proponent for like single issue voting. And truly, like, that's the way it should be, because if I'm paying you to be a representative and you're only voting like once a fucking week, what are you doing the rest of the week? You can vote 20 times and you can abstain from a vote. And then we know, hey, you abstained from this vote and it was really important to your people. So I don't think we need to throw everything together. First of all, they don't even know what the fuck is. There's no way you could even read all of that. And so, like, then you find out years later, like when California passed Prop 47, Prop 57, and AB 109, the Safer Streets Initiative, and then we come to find out that a 50-year-old a toddler, and it's a nonviolent crime because the kid can't fight back. Like, nobody would have voted for that except for a few choice adult men that go to Disney. And the rest of us were really horrified. So I don't know. I feel like Tucker's kind of right in that. It's like both sides are going too far and they're losing a lot of people. And everybody says, what about the primary? What about the primary? What about the primary? Or, the midterms. And like, I kind of don't care. So
I don't see a left and a right. I just see a uniparty, and it's crap.
Yeah. And I don't think my best friend from high school, she was like, the whole like wings of the same bird, whatever fucking thing. And like, I didn't really get it. But then this isn't what I voted for the last time. And I don't know. It's crazy. And then did you see that Trump was like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about my approval rating in Israel is 99%. So I'm thinking about running for prime minister. Like, what in the actual fuck are you talking about?
I don't know what he's talking about half the time. I don't even listen to him anymore. He's a big windbag, and his ego is bigger than the planet. And
I know, and I don't want to be this like black pilled, but like, what are we going to do that's any better? I mean, we were going to take care of the economy and the border and no new wars and all this stuff. And now we're sending troops to Poland like this week. Like, Poland, where'd they fucking come from? And they call them troops. We're sending troops. Like, we're not sending troops. We're sending our fucking kids. Right. These kids are like teens, 20s, maybe 30s. Like, this is the future of America. And you're sending them to fucking Poland for what? Because somebody needs a bodyguard over there? So I don't know. But what I'll say is that his approval rating in Israel is 99%. And in America, it's 38%. Now, Massie did run on a platform where he was the only one to not accept any AIPAC money. And I'm just saying that, like, in a totally unrelated statistic, Kentucky has 40,408 square miles that he was in charge of, and Israel has only 8,522. So that's good. Totally unrelated, though. So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, and then like, who's this dude? But the thing is, to wear my foil hat just a little bit snugger, he won with the mail-in votes.
Yeah.
And that black pills me a little bit more, because it's like, well, a lot of us feel that the 2020 election had some fucking shenanigans go on. I'm in Michigan, and there was some shenanigans with a couple hundred people that were over the age of 4 million that all voted for Biden. Every fucking one of them. Anybody over the age of 120 voted for Biden. Like, statistically, not possible. But, there were anomalies in every state. There were some prosecutions that, can't think of her name now, but anyway, there were some things on video, and there were some people stuffing ballots, and there was the suitcase underneath, and there was some shenanigans, but we're not allowed to talk about that because it was all fucking legit and Biden won. But now we have a problem again where you've got 4 people at some dude's like acceptance speech. Well, everyone is going USA at Massie's thing, and it's like, where are all these like mail-in votes? Are there that many invalids in the state of Kentucky? I had no idea.
And the people that were at his thing, they were just like milling around. Like, it looked to me like half of them didn't even know why they were there, and maybe they were just like, "Hey, come on in and have a drink," and like, "All right," and they walked in. They're standing around. It's ridiculous.
I thought when I looked at it, because there were people with like cocktails in their hand, and there were just like bartenders standing there. Like, there were like more bartenders there than there were like people that were there to attend it. But to me, it totally looked like a 30-year high school reunion that he crashed or something. Like, that's kind of how it looked to me. Yes, no lifetime pay either, Red Bike. And then Pammy over on YouTube says, sucks that the American people don't get to vote term limits on a national scale. The politicians make the decision to their fate. Yeah, that's a little bit like my government that I work for, my little local place. Is like we get cost of living adjustments when they want cost of living adjustments for themselves. So we just wait for them to get greedy so that hopefully a little trickles down to us. But yeah, you know, but don't be too depressed because did you see what happened this week with like Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan?
No, I saw like something came across my feed, but I forgot about it and I never went back and looked at it.
Hey, Wang Dang Doodle over on Pilled, gifted me a cookie. Thank you. I will have to remember. Ben, if you can remind me to release the pills, release the Krakens. And also, if you want me to set a raid, I've got to figure that out closer to the end of the stream. So, okay, so Theo Vaughn, comedian, but also just like the most open, transparent heart, just such a beautiful guy who isn't afraid of being vulnerable. And he kind of made a joke, and like many people that are funny, we can be a little dark. And he said something to the effect of that he was just trying not to off himself. And this wasn't super recent, but for whatever reason, Joe Rogan brought it up on his show, talking to somebody the other day. They were talking about SSRIs, and he was saying like, oh, Theo Vaughn takes SSRIs and all this stuff. And it's like, I don't really know that you like talk about your friend's meds and that they can cause all kinds of problems like impotence. I don't think he said impotence, but he has talked about impotence before. And like kind of not cool, especially because like Theo Vaughn sort of was going through a little single phase, trying to just like get his like mind right and everything. And we shouldn't know this much about these people, but at any rate, there was kind of an outrage of it because he was, you know, Joe Rogan said like, I hope that he doesn't take the emergency exit. I've known so many people that have, and blah, blah, blah. And people are like, ooh, that's totally not okay for you to be talking about Theo's dark shit on your show. So then he comes on the next show and he talks for like 20 minutes about, it was like an apology, but it was also airing out like more of Theo's story, which was sort of like not an apology. And, you know, like, oh, I'm just, you know, so sorry that I said that he was blah, blah, blah. It's because you said he was blah. And it was just kind of, I don't know, like, I don't know that you really go out and publicly, I mean, obviously we don't, you know, have very many viewers on the Molly Sleuth show. So we're super grateful to everybody here. But I like, I don't know that you just air that shit. You're fucking Joe Rogan. And if somebody's going through something, I don't know that you just like air it on your fucking show. You call Theo yourself and you go, bro.
Only 30 million people listening to you.
Yeah. And, you know, you got to think Theo Vaughn is very popular too. And so how many, like what kind of a contagious fire did that create of people trying to like slide into Theo's DMs to save the day or whatever? I don't know. It was just sort of like cunty drama, but whatever the joke was and however serious he was, like Theo Vaughn, it has been just so awesome. He's really done. I mean, I was watching one of his shows today, the recent one, but then he had this one where he was like changing his tune. I forgot the name of it, but fuck, he's just so deep, but he masks it with a lot of humor. And I also just thought, because we're talking about Massie and Tulsi's office getting fucking raided and all this like foil hat shit, that now what happened? So you're saying that, oh, like Theo Vaughn, like, I just hope he doesn't do it, because Theo Vaughn has now come out and said, hey, that place with like 8,000 square miles, I'm not a big fan. And then you've got Joe Rogan saying, I sure hope that nothing happens to him. It's like, what the hell? Like, we can't, do not. I draw the line at Theo Vaughn. I'm already black-pilled. Don't make me go on some Jason Bourne shit from my boy Theo. So give people pills or whatever. Yeah, thanks, Circle One. You're crack. You're on it. Hello to the back of the room. Glad you are here listening along with us. Don't forget to hit the red pill, click the thing, and share. Thanks, Wild Irish Rose, over on Pilled. Okay, so now that life is even better, another cop killed in Chicago. And this one, well, they all piss me off, but when I was an LAPD cop, my old partner, Roberto Sanchez, was murdered. And that's weird. I just said his name, and it didn't feel like his name. I felt like I got it wrong. Like, he's been gone so long that I'm like, was that really his name? And then that made me feel bad that, like, I knew him, but now it's like he's a total stranger. Huh, that was odd. Anyway, this guy's name was John Bartholomew. And the a-hole who killed him was on some kind of like pre-trial release for armed robbery. And this guy had so many other aggravated robberies and aggravated battery of a police officer. Like, why is this guy out? If you're violent, why are we letting you out before we decide on your fate for the latest one? And I think you're going to see that with a couple of the other ones that we've got. I know the Austin one that you want to debrief, same thing. It's like, why are these dirtbags just like walking the streets until what? Because he was arrested for some kind of felony and pleaded down to a misdemeanor. And so then he was like out as well. Not happy about that, but Chicago is a hellhole. I told you what happened when I went to the Skinny Puppy show at the House of Blues there a couple years ago. That was horrifying. They killed that guy right on the street because he wouldn't fork over any money. And in Los Angeles, we call that aggressive panhandling. It's one thing to go like, hey, could I have $1? Like, no, fuck you. Like, okay. But it's another thing to like block my path and make a fist and be like, I bet you have an extra $1. Like, that's just like.
I've had that happen to me a couple of times when I was living in California. Homeless guys coming up. One time I was at the gas station. The guy comes up to me and he wants money. I told him I don't have any cash. I'm paying with the credit card. And he just got out, just infuriated. And he starts coming towards me. And I'm like, I let go of the handle of the gas and I'm backing up. I'm like, I don't have any cash. He's like coming at me, like backing me up all the way down, all around the parking lot. I don't remember what happened. He finally just took off, but I thought he was going to attack me. And then another time I was at a fast food restaurant on my lunch break. And this guy comes up to my window as I'm sitting in line in my car, knocking on my window, and there's nowhere you can go. So I roll down my window and they want money. I'm like, I don't have any cash. I'm paying with my credit card. He starts screaming at me. I roll up my window. He's spitting on my window. He's smashing on these people. And that was back in the 90s, and they were aggressive like that.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's just gotten worse.
Yeah, they would bang on your window really hard in LA traffic, and like you can't go anywhere. You're fucking trapped. You're at the mercy of the bumper in front of you. And so anyway, it is a crime in California. One of the very few things that's still a crime. It's called aggressive panhandling, but basically it's an Estes robbery. Because robbery, 211 of the Penal Code, is the taking of property by force or by fear. So if you're blocking my path and making a fist and going, I bet you got $1, like, what else am I going to think except like, fuck, if I don't give him $1, like, he might punch me. Sure, sir, here's $1. That's not panhandling. This is not voluntary. I'm not voluntarily giving you $1 out of the goodness of my heart. I don't want my nose wiped off my face. And so, no doubt, that'll be legal sometime soon. But at any rate, I guess we can go into that. I had a couple of other ones to get into, but we can do those after we talk about the Austin one. Because these guys, this Austin kid, well, you talk about it, but he had an open warrant for another theft of a firearm.
Yeah, I didn't know about that part. I just knew that he was an illegal. The 17-year-old was an illegal. The 15-year-old and the 16-year-old, I don't know if they had anything prior, but the three of them just went on a shooting spree. It's a crazy story. I'll give you the rundown. I've got a timeline of events here. It all started on Saturday, May 16th. Let's see. Wait a minute. Where is it?
Uh-oh.
I'm lost here.
Uh-oh. I'm loading some Candace screenshots right now. We're going to go through these. It's very interesting body language that I witnessed.
Okay, so it started on Saturday, May 16th, around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, when the police were notified. What's going on here? That's not right.
I'm not on your computer. Hi, Nora, over on YouTube. Friend, we got to get you back over here.
This is all out of order.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, while you figure that out, we can talk about the San Diego mosque shooters, because those were also teenagers, 17 and 18. And so the mom called and said, yeah, he stole 3 guns and left with a companion. And it's like, what is this companion? Like, that's not even a word that anybody would use. You're saying false flag for the mosque shooting? I don't know. Like, these kids, it's weird because we have this glut of entitlement and this. We've got a lot of ego and violence now where we feel so entitled and then we get angry and like, I'm not saying that it's video games that cause it, but we sort of have this mentality, this Grand Theft Auto mentality of like, fuck it. I mean, these 2 kids, for whatever they were pissed about, killed themselves. I'm just not supposed to say that on YouTube. In a fucking BMW. Like, I don't even think I've ridden in a BMW. I drive a Dodge with a check engine light. Like, I can't imagine just being like, life fucking sucks. Let's take our BMW. Like, what are you doing wrong in life that you're pissed off at the world driving around in a BMW? That's all I have to say about that. But anyway, the news called them acquaintances. Like, I feel like you're a little more than acquainted with somebody that you're going to go around and do a shooting with and take the emergency exit with, do a Thelma and Louise with. Acquaintances, I don't think so. Participation trophy generation, Red Bike says. Yeah, but also it's that social media thing where like everything I do is important. Everything like I say deserves likes, and it's very like hollow. And they just, I don't know, there's like an ego that happens that they don't grow up with bullies anymore, so they don't have a real like sense of self. Like where we grew up and we knew that we were gay and retarded and whatever, and we got kicked in the dirt and we got made fun of, and we could, you know, tell you all the nicknames that I had in my former years, but you know, they were just trying to hurt you any way that you can, and it made us tough. The images on the guns and other stuff scream false flag. I don't know, seems strange. I haven't really looked that much into it, Nora, but I think these kids, it also just goes to show, because you had like people writing on the casings and like 2 recent ones, that kind of also goes to show how fucking retarded that these kids are, that they're like, yeah, I'm going to do that too. And it's like, you know, like somebody was talking today about, do you remember like the whole milk crate challenge where they were like climbing milk crates and people were getting like seriously injured, but like you had to do like the latest like TikTok craze or whatever?
Yeah, well, there was a bunch of those ridiculous things.
A bunch of them. And there's always new ones, you know, the cinnamon challenge and all of this stuff. And it's just like lemmings. Like they're all just following each other off a cliff because Nobody has the common sense to be like, it looks kind of dangerous. But also, I guess, one, we see a lot of like, and I'm not going to blame America's Funniest Videos, but like, there was Buster Keaton and the, Three Stooges. And then like everything on the internet was like somebody racking their nuts on a grate, like riding their skateboard. Like we've just gotten really used to seeing people fail and walk it off. And then people think that they can do like crazy shit with no consequence.
Like Jackass.
Right. Did you see, like he said he was going to get implants, breast implants. He didn't do it.
Who did?
The dude from Jackass was going to do that. He was going to, and he didn't.
Oh.
Everyone's a Kardashian, and Facebook is the National Enquirer. Yeah, but like, remember National Enquirer was like fun. It was like Bat Boy, and like you could discern reality from like satire. And now, like, I don't really know if Kardashians are reality or satire. There's like everything's like sort of this like shade of gray now. So I don't know. But did you figure out your Austin shit?
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, on Saturday, May 16th is when it started. At about 4 p.m., that's when the police got the first notification that a shooting had occurred at a trailer park. And at that shooting, nobody was injured. There was somebody inside the trailer, but they just started shooting holes in the trailer. And I guess a guy dropped on the floor and didn't get hit, luckily. But yeah, so then after that, they got at 4:30, they responded to another shooting at an apartment complex. And there were people inside the apartment, some adults and children, but again, nobody got hit. They were just shooting at the apartment, just shooting at the walls. Then, let's see, then at 6 o'clock, there was another shooting at another apartment complex. This time they got out of the car. I guess the first two times they were just in their car, just driving by and just shooting at stuff. But this third time they got out of the car, they walked up to the door and they just started shooting through the door. And again, somehow nobody got hit. But yeah, these guys were just going around shooting at stuff. A little bit later on after that, about 10 minutes later, there was an unoccupied residence that was struck by gunfire. Guy came home and just found bullet holes in his walls and the doors and everything. Then at 7 o'clock. You can't
tell if a structure is unoccupied from the outside.
Yeah, they didn't know.
So shooting at an unoccupied dwelling is its own separate crime. But like, if you shoot a gun at my head and I matrix the shit out of that, that shouldn't change the crime that you committed.
Right.
Anyway, that pisses me off. I don't like the whole unoccupied thing, making it sound less than it is. Shot at somebody's home, and somebody could have been home nursing their little baby in the window. Like, fuck you.
Yeah. So after that, 7 o'clock, they stole another vehicle from a motel parking lot. At 8:30, shots were fired at a business and more vehicles. They were just driving around shooting at stuff. At 8:50, shots were fired at the Austin fire station garage. The doors were down, the firefighters were inside, but the bullets went through and they hit the vehicles and equipment and screwed up a bunch of stuff. At 8:55, shots were fired through the windshield of an occupied vehicle. And this time a person was inside and they got hit. But I guess they're injured. Or no, actually they didn't get hit. They got injured by the shattered glass, got them all up. Let's see, then at 8:45, after that, after the windshield one, they went quiet for a while. I guess they got tired and went home and went to sleep for a while. Then they got up Sunday morning at 8:45, and they found somebody, shot him in the back and shot him in the stomach. That guy was taken into the hospital for injuries, obviously, but I guess they weren't life-threatening. 15 minutes later, officers located one of the stolen vehicles, but when they tried to pull him over, they took off and got away. At 10:45, more shots were fired at the Austin fire station. This time the garage door was open and they hit more vehicles and the exterior of the building. But again, no firefighters were hit. Then at 1:30, another car was stolen. 1:45, 2 more people were shot during a drive-by shooting. 2 o'clock, shooting was reported, and then a few minutes later, another shooting was reported at another location. And at 2:30, another individual got shot, and I guess that one was pretty bad. He got taken to a trauma center. His injuries were life-threatening. Oh, let's see, at 3:20, it's just the
Jesus.
craziest thing. At 3:20, the most recently stolen vehicle was located, and the police and sheriffs took off after it, and they drove the car into a field and took off on foot. One of them they grabbed right at the car. The second one was located a little while later after the canines and the helicopters found him. And then the third one was caught later on after they received a phone call about a suspicious person. So they got all 3 of them, but man, mayhem. And let's see, they were charged with multiple counts related to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault with a motor vehicle, deadly conduct, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, evading arrest, theft of a firearm, and other related offenses. And they're saying that they don't know why they did it. They said it was a mix of random and targeted shootings. They said that some of the people they knew, but some of the people, it was just like, hey, there's somebody, let's shoot at them. So it's just crazy. And I'm wondering, are they going to try these 3 as adults? I think they should.
Yeah, well, one of them already had a warrant for stealing a gun when they were 15, and they're 17 now.
That
So,
must be illegal then.
like,
This is-
you're already a dirtbag. So, one of the things, I mean, this typically you use this on like the younger kids for LAPD. I would ask the kids, it's called the Gladys R questionnaire. And basically, do you know right from wrong? Do you know that you did the wrong thing? And this
That's
is for like little fucking kids, right?
Is that like the void contest?
Yes. Tell me about your mother. I'll tell you about my mother. So, but I mean, 15 and 17, like, you're on one hand, you're saying they should know enough to be able to like cut their tits off, but then on the other hand, like, they stole a gun and they didn't know that shooting it at a fire truck could be a problem. Like, so I don't, like, we can't play that game. You can't pretend that that age category, like Kamala Harris said, was like, they're all stupid and they don't know anything. But then also they can totally make, what's a tortoise? Your red bike. That is funny. So, actually, I have the book here, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
I'm reading that right now.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That's funny. Book club. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you do with these like rabid children. Like, you're either old enough or you're not old enough. But anyway, I guess they'll just get thrown through the system. A sort of a sad one in San Diego. There's some old man, he's like 70 years old, and his house is a shit show. It's just all American flags and military and all this stuff. And like neighbors had complained and said like, oh, it's too much patriotism. And so the neighbor, who's like some like 32-year-old shitbag, and it was funny because it wasn't funny, but there were pictures of him where he was like thin and he had a girl. I don't know if it was like wife, girlfriend, whatever. And they're both kissing a baby together and it's Christmas and like his life looked nice. And then there's this picture of him just like looking all just like pudgy loser with his like Star Wars shirt on. And somebody was like, oh, this is the guy in the neighborhood that plays with all the Legos and Star Wars. Like, he's 32. But anyway, I guess he goes over to this old man's house, and this old man is like, I think he's 69 or 70 years old, and he beats the shit out of him. Like, do not look at the photos of this old man. The wife says he's never going to recover. A utility worker stepped in and saved his life and was also injured. And they're just trying to like chalk this up to PTSD. That this Star Wars man-child was basically, he was in the Navy or something. He was some kind of vet. But thank God for the utility worker that stepped in. There's just so much shit going on. But I wonder about Austin, because on one hand, like, this is obviously a crime spree. Can't they do a reverse 911 call and let everybody know, you know, hide your kids, hide your wife, get in the bathtub until the shit's over?
Who would make the call? What do you?
Reverse 911. You'd get a phone call from dispatch saying, hey, just FYI, there's a fire down the street and you guys are next to be evacuated, or there's a maniac afoot and last seen in a Toyota Celica. I don't know why that was the car of choice that just came out of my brain. I don't know when the last year they made a Toyota Celica. I don't know that I've ever been in a Toyota Celica. Thank you, brain. But yeah, reverse 911 can tell you a lot of things if they want. But like with the amount of shootings that you're talking about, where they're targeting like random people. I mean, on one hand, as a cop, like, what do you do? Like, how do you warn people? Like, these people are home in their living room, in their bed, in their bathtub, like wherever they are, and there's rounds coming into their home. Like, how do you protect yourself from that? Pammy says more like an emergency alert to the public. Yeah, but I don't. On one hand, it'd be nice to know. I'd get the hell out of Austin for the week. Because remember when we had the Virginia shooters, the father-son that were shooting from like a hole in a car?
Yeah.
But I mean, we didn't have reverse 911 back then.
Well, I mean, this Austin thing went on for
snipers. Thank
2
you.
days. So, and I don't know. I didn't hear about it until yesterday or the day before. So I don't know if people in Austin even knew that it was happening, or if anybody even knew that it happened.
Yeah, I mean, you're in Texas, but you're far from Austin.
Yeah, I'm about an hour away.
Well, I don't know, but it just seems like when we used to put people in stocks and throw things at them, we didn't have a lot of this recidivism of felons with a gun.
Yeah, if you get caught for stealing, you lose your hand. I think that's a pretty big incentive to not steal stuff.
That's a big incentive to not get caught. That's why these people take off in a car. At least in terms of like LAPD, if you get caught driving without a license, it's a misdemeanor. If you get caught with a hit and run, like leaving the scene, it's also a misdemeanor. But that misdemeanor, you don't get your car taken and you might get away. And like this, it's just created this whole like Grand Theft Auto like idea where they watch all these like police chases on TV, and we're raising this generation of people with absolutely no fucking discipline.
Yeah, I just, that story that you said about the old man getting beat up reminds me of this video that I saw earlier today of this old 70-year-old man on the subway, and I don't know where it was, New York, I guess, getting just the shit beat out of him by three black teenagers, while everybody else on the subway just stood there watching it, and they beat the hell out of this guy. All three of them, just nonstop for like a good minute, just beating him. And then when he finally went down on the ground, they started kicking him, pounding on his chest. And I mean, I'm surprised the old guy lived.
It's so disheartening to me because it's more than just youth not respecting their elders. Like, it's just disgusting. There used to be honor in a fight, and there isn't anymore. Now it's perfectly acceptable to have three people versus one, and to stomp on heads when people are unconscious, and for some 32-year-old shitbag to like do unspeakable stuff to a 70-year-old man. That's clearly not a fair fight. And that used to be why men and women didn't fight. Now I would say that women are getting pretty violent, and it might it might be a little bit more fair. You got to pick your battles. But I don't know, like, how do you have to be raised as a kid to think that 3 versus 1 is okay? Even if they stole your shit, fucked your wife, whatever, like whatever scenario you could come up with, 3 versus 1 is like, nope.
So many of these kids are raised by their mom or their grandma because their dad's in jail, and they're just running the streets, and they're learning this from the other kids that are running the streets. And it's that whole gang mentality where, like a pack of wolves, they don't just, one doesn't attack you, they just all attack you.
Like baby rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
Well, that's screwed up. And I did want to talk about, well, we'll get into Candace Owens, because she does talk about sort of the unfairness in the world. But I think I want to do something a little bit different. So, well, first of all, let's talk about the Candace thing. I was going to get into the grenade that was found in the dam. You sent me that, didn't you?
Yeah.
But then I looked in the story, and it's not as salacious as it sounds. Like, these divers found a grenade. They don't even know how old it was. And Pammy says, Austin is kind of like the LA of Texas. It's chaotic shit show. I'm from South Texas. Yeah, I went to Austin, and I was just like, oh, this is just like a dusty San Francisco. There was just like
That's what everybody who moves from California moves to Austin. They think, I'm going to move to Texas and I'll go to Austin. Well, you're moving from one shithole to another. So I call it the San Francisco of Texas. Yeah. I think worse than LA.
It was very much like San Francisco. There were like kids with blue hair, like shaking cups of change and stuff. Weird. Was it an actual grenade or a homemade IED? They called it an IED and also said that it was consistent with a grenade. They didn't know how long it had been there. And it was divers that found it. And unfortunately, because it's in a dam, like, they find stolen guns, all that kind of stuff, like, all the time, just like thrown over a railing into a body of water. In fact, MacArthur Park and Echo Park Lake get drained. I wouldn't say regularly, but they're always finding some kind of shenanigans coming out of that water, whether it's like stolen firearms or LAPD badges or the skull of some missing person. So I don't know. Do I think that somebody was trying to blow up the dam? I think you're going to have more information to say that they were trying to do that. But it is super concerning, because if you're that freaking stupid that you're going to throw some kind of device, because you're like, I don't know, I was cleaning out my grandpa's garage and like I run a meth lab, so I don't really want the cops coming to pick this thing up and then seeing all my other stuff, so I'll just throw it into the river. And then it ends up making its way to the dam. Possible. I'd rather find a pirate treasure personally. Hell yeah. I'd rather find pirate treasure too. That wouldn't have made the news. That would have made my pocket.
You were talking about MacArthur Park. Isn't that the park where they're always finding bodies?
Yeah, that and Echo Park Lake, which is like right there.
Yeah.
Silver Lake's more of a reservoir, and that has a gate around it. But yeah, MacArthur Park is a shithole. You know, I haven't been to LA for years, but it was shocking just how many losers are hanging out at the water and how like nothing good is happening there. You would never just take a stroll or go take your wedding photos in front of the water. And I saw a story today in DC that they took a park and they cleaned out all the vagrants and chaos. And now it's like really beautiful, and people were taking pictures and strolling and sitting on park benches. And this one lady said, it's like Paris, like not current Paris, like what you think Paris looks like. So Trump's cleaning up some stuff, but also that doesn't make up for everything. So yay for the parks. Keep it coming. Someone left the cake out in the rain. I know it's a song, but I'm too dumb to know it. So there you go. All right. So when I first asked you to do the show, I was like, Candace Owens is interviewing Hunter Biden.
Yeah, I was all jazzed for it.
I know. I thought like, oh shit, we're going to be talking about Burisma and like Ashley Biden's diary and like pedo Pete or whatever the fuck he was called, and like sniffing kids, and like, yeah, we're gonna get into it, and like, was a baggie of coke yours, and all this stuff. Well, what do you think about how it went?
It's not the interview that I thought it was going to be.
I know. I can't wait to find out what Pammy thought of it. So yeah, it was very understated. And that's why instead of going into any of the salacious tidbits, I thought there was a whole dance that was going on body language wise. Now, I taught body language for in-service detectives for the Los Angeles Police Department, and which doesn't make me an expert on Hunter Biden or Candace Owens, but I wanted to just show some visuals. You know, my Amish screen sharing. I just took some screenshots, and then I'll tell you what they were talking about, and then maybe we'll make it like a little game, and see what you think of the body language that is being presented. Okay, so let's start with this one. This isn't really a great one, but let me get the background off so that it's not confusing. Oops. Okay, this one, not a good explanation, but this is the very beginning of the show. The first thing that comes out of her mouth is, Hunter Biden, welcome to the Candace Owens show. Now, I'll tell you what she's doing with her head, but what do you already think about this body language?
Well, she's got a defensive posture with her arms folded in front of her.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that as well. Now, one of the things I noticed, well, first of all, I believe that she's in her she's in her home. It's been referred to as her basement. Oh, okay, Pammy, you didn't get to watch it. But okay, I'm not going to spoil anything per se, but maybe if I give you these little tidbits and then you go and watch it, then you can maybe see what I'm seeing. Okay, so the first thing she says is, Hunter Biden, welcome to the Candace Owens show. And when you shake your head in the negative, it's typically when you have some incongruency. And
is that what she did? I didn't notice that.
Yep. She said, welcome to the Candace Owens show. And Pammy says, yes, spoil it. Okay, here's the tea, Pammy. Okay, so if you say, hey, Molly, I'd really love to take you out for dinner sometime. Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So already you see this defensive posture. Now, okay, it could have been filmed a couple weeks ago, and now they're like, cutting it up, but it hasn't been like that super cold. And you'd like to think that somebody of Candace Owens' like bank account probably wouldn't have a 40-degree basement like I have, where you're just like, dude, I'm not going to heat the whole house just because the basement's freezing. So I don't think that she's cold.
Where does she live?
In Tennessee, Nashville. So I also thought it was very interesting that she says, welcome to the Candace Owens show, which is almost like talking about yourself in the third person, which is super weird. Instead of saying like, welcome to my home,
Yeah.
which would
Or
be
even
like,
just welcome to the show. I mean, you don't have to say your name in there. Everybody knows.
Yeah, I feel like you're at the level where people know who you are. So I thought that was a little bit interesting that she was sort of separating herself from the guy. And so like, welcome to my house, welcome to the Candace Owens show, as she's shaking her head no, and she's very closed off. And then he says, oops, let me add her again. So she says, shakes her head no, Hunter Biden, welcome to the Candace Owens show. Now he says, now they back up. Now you can see both of their body language. And he says, it's wonderful to be here. So he has made it personal. So you see her body language, very closed off. What I thought was really interesting about their body language is if you look at their legs, like, so sometimes like friends will mirror each other's body language, and it's actually a
Yeah.
way that you can manipulate other people by mirroring their body language. It gives them a subconscious feeling that the two of you are on the same page. Salespeople use this all the time to try to manipulate you into buying shit. But I don't think either one of them is really trying to manipulate anything. But when I look at his legs, his knee in particular, like those jeans look so freaking tight. Like,
Yeah.
how do you even have testicles? Like, those legs look so crossed that it looks uncomfortable. Now, her legs are also very deeply crossed. Now, they are, though, both facing each other. If they were crossed in the opposite direction, which they will be later in the show once they warm up a little bit, then they're more including the room. But right now, with where the camera is and where they are, they're closing off themselves to each other and kind of leaving the camera out of it. In other words, if I was sitting where the camera is and these two were good friends and they're talking like this, I know I'm totally the third wheel here. But his legs are very crossed and his hands have a lot of static. I can't sit like that. Most men can't sit like that. You know, let me just, as just a whatchamacallit, just to see, I want to show you Russell Brand on her show, and I want you to see how Russell Brand is sitting on her show. Like, this guy's about to fall out of the chair. He's like so relaxed. And I mean, he's just like presenting his nuts to her with this open shirt. It's so like sexually aggressive. And she looks like she's like, you know, in a religious cult, like just so puritanical. It's crazy. Okay, so let's go back to Hunter. So he's just very tight. But he says, it's wonderful to be here. And so it's also a little bit removed, not it's wonderful to be with you. But later in the show, he does say to her, like, thank you for inviting me into your home. You know, it's really a big thing. It's not just like you're going to be on the show. Like, she invited him into her home. And with so much political chaos that goes on and her just being recently doxxed with, you know, all that, which we get into in the show. She talks about the Beanie Kid and how he put out the layout of her house and her whole security team and her card put out potentially by Laura Loomer that she calls Jigsaw or whatever. Like, there's a lot of drama. But to invite somebody over that you have just unapologetically roasted for years, talking about what a dirtbag he was, to then invite him into your home, like, that's kind of wild. Okay. So this next one. Now look at her body language and look at her hands in particular.
Yeah, I was watching her hands when she was talking to him, and she was like very like fidgety with her fingers.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension in those hands right now.
Yeah.
She's also double crossed. So her legs right now are closing off her vital bits, right? Because your sexual organs, which is the closest to him, and you're closing off your top part, you're crossing your hands, you're further protecting yourself. Now, it is interesting because, like, men that are accused of like sexual crimes, especially if it's them as an aggressor to somebody who's wholly unable to be a equal opponent, let's say, perhaps a child, there'll be a lot of protecting going on there in the lower region. He isn't necessarily protecting his lower half, but he's still, you know, he's very locked in. This is still very early I think later I have the timestamps in the screenshot, but yeah, she's full of a lot of tension, with the hands and everything just being so crossed. Now in this one, let's see. Okay, this was interesting. So he's talking about his addiction, and he says, I think we can all understand addiction from less devastating levels. For instance, where's your phone? Now, she doesn't know why he's asking for her phone, but look at the way that she's sort of haphazardly, she's reaching down. She does like glance down for a quick second. She doesn't grab shit, and she comes back up. She does not have her phone. She ain't handed him fucking nothing. It was
And she's
sort
not
of,
taking her eyes off it.
huh?
She's not taking her eyes off him.
She's not. But look at his posture. Like, he doesn't mean anything nefarious by this. But you can see, like, Candace has been so screwed over that, like, this would be a little bit terrifying to me. Like, what do you mean? You want me to, like, hand you my phone to, like, a crackhead? But he's like kind of given this posture right now of, like, I'm not dangerous. And she's like, I don't know about that. But anyway, so she goes down and sort of like fishes around, but she comes up totally empty-handed, and which is interesting. And she's obviously like, and then she's kind of bracing herself with the chair. I just thought it was really fascinating. Now, okay, right after that, so he talks about the phone, and he says, like, we're all addicted to our phones, like doom scrolling and all this stuff. That's what he was talking about with the phone. He wasn't trying to see her phone or anything. There was no accusation there. He was just saying, like, where's your phone right now? And maybe he didn't even want her to get the phone. Maybe it was more about, do you know where your phone is right now? Of course you do, because we're all so cognizant of where our phone is, what our battery's at. Like, these have become our little, like, devices that we're addicted to. So this is interesting. So we all know the story of Pinocchio. As he lies, his nose grows, and that is actually based on some science. You do have erectile tissue in the tip of your nose. I find myself doing this. If I tell a lie, my nose itches and I have to go and scratch it. And then I'm like, shit, they know I'm lying. And it's so involuntary. You don't really notice that you're scratching your nose until after you've scratched it. And then you're like, fuck, everybody knows I just told a lie. So anyway, when he scratches his nose here, could be a tickle. And if you guys want, I can really get into some body language stuff, but you need to see clusters. It's not just one little thing. She could be crossing her arms because it could be fucking freezing down there. He could be like a real sweaty guy, and he's like, listen, I won't do your show unless your basement is, 39 degrees. And she's like, okay, sounds good. I normally just wear a little like sweater myself, but today I'm going to wear this jacket and I'm going to cross everything over. But then she's also got like bare legs, which you'll see later. Like, she doesn't have any socks on, which, I mean, if you run cold, then like go put some nice socks on, and that would probably help. So I don't know if she's cold. I can't tell. He is not sweaty. And even as this goes, there's no indicator that either one of them were warm, or that he's cold. So, but there could be a reason for the crossed arms, and it could be something as simple as it's fucking cold in there, or her back hurts, or she feels like, her bra doesn't fit very well today, or she thinks that her shirt's too revealing, or there could be a lot of reasons for it. So you have to look for clusters. And so for him to wipe his nose, it doesn't necessarily mean, oh shit, here comes a lie, but just, as an aside. So as he's saying this, first he holds his heart. First he holds his heart. He's talking about himself. He's talking about phone addiction. And he says, and I'm not any better. Now, this could be a self-soother. This could be protective, especially if somebody is like covering more of the throat area. This could be very protective. But he says, and I'm not any better. And he looks away and he won't look at her at this time. And he says, so we can all understand that compulsion. And then he tickles the nose. Very interesting to me. So now, just because he got uncomfortable at that moment, or he potentially revealed some sort of an indicator of, oh, Nora, you watched it? Okay, you got to tell me if you think that where I'm going is right. He could be thinking about something else. And that's the thing with body language is like, we do have thoughts that sort of float around, and you could get super nervous because I asked what your favorite color is. And you're like, oh shit, I remember that one lady I killed in fucking Poughkeepsie and I painted her whole body blue. If I say blue, then she's gonna know about that thing. And like, maybe I was just trying to build rapport, like, what's your favorite color? Not that that's something I would ask as a detective, but just maybe an easy, simplistic answer. So he could have also just had a little nose tickle. Who knows? Okay, so now for the next one. This was interesting. When I talk about clusters, this was very interesting to me. And I don't know that you're going to be able to see it in a screenshot, but I call this a butt swipe. In fact, a lot of interrogators and body language experts call this a butt swipe. And what a butt swipe is that basically lie detection is more anxiety detection and not necessarily a lie. You have anxiety when I ask you about what's your favorite color, but you don't have any anxiety when I ask you about your swim meet last week. And a butt swipe, so we leak anxiety, and that's why you'll see all kinds of behaviors from, lint picking and, just incongruencies that aren't when you're at your natural state, when you're feeling comfortable, when you're talking about that swim meet and there's like no pressure at all. And then I start talking about where were you on Thursday night, and then I start to see all these signs of anxiety. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you killed Jessica. It could mean you know who did, or you were cheating on your wife that night, or, you saw the body, but you didn't want to admit it because you're a dirtbag and like, they'll think I was connected to it, but I was just buying crack. And like, there's so many reasons why somebody could exhibit that anxiety. But this was a big one. A butt swipe is about the most amount of anxiety you can release and still be socially acceptable. Because like any more energy released than this is like you basically getting up and leaving the room. And a butt swipe basically looks like this. Rod, ask me a question.
Where were you last Thursday?
Oh, well, Thursday so butt swipe is just like moving that whole body. That's a whole lot of energy that's leaving you. And so he does this butt swipe. And let me tell you when he does this butt swipe. As he's doing this butt swipe, he says, I've never sold a painting for $500,000. This is when he does the butt swipe. And this is like the most amount. I think it's the only butt swipe that I caught in the whole time. And we saw like he was okay with that totally leg locked, crossed legs, like just confined, so much tension, all balled up tight. And now he's releasing a lot of it. I've never sold a painting for $500,000. Now, from this point on, he starts doing a lot bigger hand gestures than he has been. He's one of these people that he uses his hands a lot when he talks, not as much as I do. He keeps it pretty tight. He keeps it very about himself. He points to himself a lot. He shows concepts, like this. But I'm going to show you. So this, okay, I'm going to go out of order. This is where he's talking about. He says, dropped a bomb on them. And this is how wide his hands go when he's talking about a bomb. The bomb is just wider than his shoulders. A bomb, just wider than his shoulders. But when he's talking about the painting, his hand is almost all the way extended. And this is very far away, and it can be considered like a detractor, like look over there. We call it like, air traffic control, like look anywhere but here. There was a shady car and the guy gets out and he does not want me to look in the car. And he was just directing airplanes from space. His arms were all the way out. Officer, thank you so much, but I got this. My brother's coming. I have a flat tire. I'm like, all 4 of those tires look good to me. What's in the fucking car? Why did he all of a sudden pop out? He's standing in like the slow lane of traffic on Wilshire Boulevard, and his hands couldn't get further from his body unless they were removed. And it's because there were drugs in the car and a prostitute and a bunch of warrants and a weapon and a baby and like whole fucking thing. And so I always think about that guy because it's a really good barometer of when I see something like this, which is now the hand is going way out. Now you notice that other hand is sort of like perched, possibly on his hip, maybe on his thigh. But that hand is really far out. Circle of One has dinosaurs and tits in the chat. Thank you for that, sir. Okay, so, and we'll go back to the bomb. And then I have to load some more. So you guys will have to look at Russell Brand for a second. I did get some other ones. Maybe I'll add some other of hers just so that you have a little reference of other guests so you can see her body language, because we're going to get more into her body language being so closed off. Let me just get some of these out. What did you think about the conversation, Rod?
I don't know. I'm at the point where I don't trust anybody anymore. So I feel like he was being honest about some things, especially like about his addiction and stuff. But yeah, like you said, with like the paintings, it's like I wasn't buying any of that. I know you were selling those paintings for a lot of money, and he's talking about he's been a painter his whole life. It's like your paintings look like they were done by a 3-year-old. It's like you're not a painter.
Right, but you can also say that you didn't sell the painting for $1 million. Like, I didn't sell sex for $40 on La Cienega. You gave me a $40 tip, and it made me want to have sex with you. So, like, people who, you know, are telling tall tales, sometimes it's just a different variation of reality.
Well, yeah, it could be like, yeah, he himself did not sell a painting for $5 million. This guy over here sold it for $5 million, and then I got the money for it.
True. It could have been a broker or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, based off of this, well, we'll just pick one of them. I want to show you some of her other guests, and then we'll get back into Hunter. What do you think about this body language, and what is she trying to convey to this particular guest, do you think?
I don't know. He
her outfit. What does her outfit look like?
Looks like it's way too big for her, for one thing.
Yeah, it does look a bit big.
Geez, I don't know.
And holding the paper, to me, this really screams like I am trying to be a journalist, like a serious businesswoman with the big blazer and like holding the paper. And this was the interview where she's talking to one of the men from the USS Liberty. It's a fascinating, probably her best interview.
Yeah, I think she mentioned that. She said that this was her favorite interview that she ever did or something like that.
Yeah, it's a terrifying story, but essentially. So that's who she's talking to. So she wants to get facts right. So she's holding facts up. She's talking about stuff. She looks very professional here. Now, the reason I bring it up, one, the body language. You see he's got a very casual pose, but also he is presentable. He's not showing his nuts with his bare chest like Russell Brand. He's not man-spreading. That is an acceptable male presentation. It's not over and it's not under. He's very understated and being respectful to her. Now, she does have her legs crossed. But her body language is pretty neutral. She does have the paper between them at this moment because she's reading off facts and talking about the story. But if she kept it there, like there are guests, I don't think I took a screenshot, but there are guests in which she had, like she was just talking about the Victor guy in Colorado. And she's got her laptop in her lap the whole time because it's just all about like, I need to get these facts out and I need to have this shit like directly in front of me. But that could also be a barrier between her and her guest. Okay, so now let's show you.
About the crossed legs. In this situation here, she has her legs crossed towards the camera, which is if you cross your legs towards someone, it means that you like them, that you're okay with them. But with the way she had him with Hunter, she has her legs crossed away from him. So it's another defensive posture.
Yeah. So with Hunter, she does cross. And so being an 80, it does get a little annoying after a time. And so you cross and you uncross and hopefully you're wearing underwear, unlike Sharon Stone. But that whole crossing and uncrossing does happen. No. Okay. So talking about crossing legs, look at these legs. And now one of them is crossed towards the other and the other one is crossed away from the other. But I was really more interested in this image because of the tension in both of their hands.
Yeah.
Now, would you be surprised for me to tell you, this is literally like 3 seconds after Candace cracked a joke and had this great big genuine smile. But now she has totally shut it down and those hands just like dove down in sort of a protective maneuver. And the amount of tension in her guest's hands, like her fingers look ugly there. I just thought that was really fascinating body language between the two of them. They didn't have a very great rapport. And I didn't watch this episode. I didn't really know what this was about. But if you look at the bar on the bottom of it, I mean, this is 1 hour, 18 minutes of 1 hour, 39 minutes, it looks like. So they've been sitting there for a long time. And for this to seem so like tense, you'd think that you'd be a lot more relaxed with one another. So let me show you one where she is more relaxed. She's not crossing her legs here. This one was very interesting. She was talking to Norm Finkelstein, and she was so animated, a lot more body language, using her hands to speak and everything. And you can see like she's really like kind of leaning towards him. She's so engaged in this conversation. He's just scratching his head. He's not like, doing anything to get away from her. But okay, now what do you think of this body language?
I gotta wait for it to come up here.
Oh, okay, good, because I can remove some of these from the stage. And I wonder if you know even who this is.
No, I don't know who that is, but
okay.
he looks pretty comfortable there.
Yeah.
I mean, so does she, really.
Yeah. She almost she's got usually typically pretty good posture. And this is sort of like one of the first times I've seen her sort of slump. Like she's just like really just like a little sack of potatoes there, just very casual. He looks very casual and very relaxed. Yeah. This is her husband that she's talking to.
Well, no wonder.
Yeah. But again, and I don't really know what the hell is going on. I was trying to like zoom in on it earlier today because her legs are crossed, but like her thigh's not that big. So I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on, if she had like a weird skirt or a pillow under her or something. Okay, so let's get back to Hunter Biden. So Hunter's regular hand gestures are typically very small. He points to himself a lot. And this does happen with addicts in recovery, where they really have to come back to themselves. They're thinking about their recovery. They really need to pay attention to everything about themselves because they could slip. And so they become very, not self-obsessed, but really intuitive about triggers and whatever. So they're really self-focused. I mean, they're literally, he even talks about it during this show, this interview, that he talks about that these acts of, losing his sobriety were really just Susie's side, that he was basically, I hate YouTube, I hate that you can't say these words, acts against his own life, that it's not just partying, like you're doing reckless stuff that could end up losing everything. So this is his normal sort of, he does speak with his hands. He's pretty like go with the flow kind of a guy. Now, here, Candace, oh wait, let's see. Here's another.
By the way, I love that little Bridget McCrone doll in the back.
Listen, I can't get enough of that. It makes me so entirely happy. And here was another thing that I don't really spend a lot of time. I just have podcasts on in the background. So I've never really looked at her background until today. But so I noticed like things have moved and things are different. But these books that are just over his shoulder, it says like Russian literature across all of the bottoms. And so I wonder, because a lot of people think like, oh, well, if you aren't on board with this, then you must be like a Russian plant. And I wonder if this is sort of a taunt, or if she's just that much into Russian literature. I don't know. But at any rate, so this is Hunter's like basic, speaking, and this is all like baseline stuff to find out things like when he says, I have never, and his hand goes way out. Yes, the Bridget E.T. doll is out of control. So in this one, Candace, what do you think about those hands? Oh, it takes you a second to see anything. I don't know why that is.
Oh, Candace's hands?
Yeah. What do you think about her hands there?
I just feel like there was a lot of tension the whole time. And I feel like she didn't know what to do with her hands.
Yeah, it's sort of very protective. At this particular moment in the conversation, she is talking about being recently doxxed and attacked. It's interesting, though, because she's saying that she calls it like her New York Post moment, because Hunter was, all over the New York Post. They were saying, he's a crackhead and this and that and blah, 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 and all these things. And so she's saying, yeah, like now they're like going after me. And there's just sort of a protective nature to those hands being out there. What I thought was really interesting about this is they cut to him, they cut to her, they pan back again, and those hands are still out there for really a naturally long time. I just thought that was so fascinating. And then the next one, she's still, okay, so let's see. So she's still talking about it. That's the same one. And then they're still there, and they're just so unnatural. Like they're not up, they're not down, they're just hovering. It's just sort of a weird thing. And his posture is very much like relaxed. Talking about her doxing. Now, look how wide his hands get.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, he's talking about when that shit happens to him, he can diffuse it. Like he's sort of, saying one, his wife would do some crazy stuff. And this is sort of his posture of like, yeah, when stuff happens to me, I can diffuse it. And that really is like perfect body language for that. Like, whoa, stop. Hey, cool down. Let's just talk about it. That's very much that kind of like a posture. Now, let's see. So, okay, this was so weird. So Candace is talking about her friend Charlie. And she's saying, like, I'm done with politics. I'm done with left versus right. I'm done with the gaslighting. I'm done with the Fed slop. And he reaches out. He's very much like touchy-feely, and she's not reaching out for him. But this is the first time they touch during this show. And he reaches out to say like, oh, thank God you're not left versus right and the gaslighting and the Fed slop and the, and done with politics. But you could see that her face looks a little skeptical, I would say. And let's just widen it out. And you can see like he's sort of like crunched, making himself a little bit smaller and less, like aggressive, but he is reaching out for her. Obviously, the hand is a little bit further towards her. And she reaches out to him from way back in the chair, where you can see he's leaned forward from the back of the chair. Her shoulder is not leaving the safety of the back of her chair, and she reaches out to give him a quick handshake. Now, let's see, 12-2. This one is interesting. He's talking about how she is really pushing to get more information about her friend Charlie. And he says, I hope you think of me as a friend. Like if anything was to happen to me, like I hope you think of me as your friend. This is what's going on there. Now, her hands are now, okay, her legs are crossed the other direction, but you see that both of their legs are now crossed the other direction. And it's sort of like that mirroring where you're like getting somebody and you guys are like kind of gelling. And I don't know which one of them crossed first, but it is sort of like an unconscious thing that if I put my hand up, that you put your hand up, and then it's sort of like a bonding sort of a thing. They've both now crossed to the other side. Now, her hands are still in the double crossed, but they're almost sort of reaching out to him in a way where it's like maybe she does want to be friendlier with him or let her guard down. I mean, who knows? But we've seen her body language with other people, and it's not like this. So I did think that that was really interesting. Now, in this one, she is giving him what sounds like Hunter Cootie's worst nightmare. Oh, Pammy. Hopefully there's a little squirt of something behind the chair. This was really interesting. So this is where she's like truly apologizing to him and saying like, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, you were a crackhead, but like what I didn't really realize is that you're like going through shit. And, we were looking at your dad and all this stuff. And she basically says, look, we were all, jumping on top of you. But today, I'm glad that you're here, but it's not right to talk about your dad. I want to talk about you. And I want this to be about you, which he very much likes that idea. And he does talk about his dad in a way where he says, basically he lost his mom, he lost his sister, then he lost his brother. And then even Candace jokes about it during the episode and says, and you kind of lost your dad to politics, to being the president. And, oh, CJ, I'm late again, but looking forward to the show. The butler did it. So there you have it. I've spoiled it all. But Candace is actually trying to apologize to him. And I guess like maybe that would be a good place to sort of have a little reprieve from all this body language stuff for a second. I kind of liked it. It wasn't the spicy, like, so why was your dad pedo Pete in your phone? But I also thought it was sort of a palate cleanser and just sort of good. Like, we're all so sick of all this like violence and bullshit and like, we're going to get rid of him and like mean girl fucking country. That it was kind of nice to see two people sit down and just be like, I'm sorry I was such a dick to you. And she really does seem very sincere. But again, he reaches out to her during her apology, and she is, totally, Biden said fire the prosecutor. I'm not saying that there are people in this thing that aren't a dirtbag, but I'm just talking about the body language. But it was interesting because she's very much like in the middle of a very heartfelt apology that she had said mean things and all the stuff. And he reaches out to her, which I did think was kind of sweet. He reached out to her like, it's okay. I accept your apology. But she was it was bad timing because she was sort of mid-apology. And I think she really wanted to convey that she was, sorry. And he sort of interrupted it. And it's kind of like those, somebody tells you like, I just wanted to tell you that like I've really been liking you. Oh, we should get a pizza. And it's just like, fuck, dude, like I'm doing something here. Wait a second. So, hey, if you guys are over on Rumble, make sure that you jump into the chat real quick, because we got some subscriptions that were gifted. Thank you so mucho. And just in case friend, and CJ just grabbed one of them. So very cool. So, okay, now, so that's what this body language is about. This is her really, truly, and you can even see her face is like mid fucking sentence, and he's like, it's okay. But then look at the handshake. It's more like, gangsters in the street. Like, it was sort of funny. Okay, let me add a couple more. But I mean, we've seen him talking about the Parmesan and the carpet and the whole thing. And this sort of got to me because like his eyes, and this wasn't even like, there's so many times when you guys watch this show that you'll see like his eyes look kind of dead. Like he's just seen so much. Like there's just like a shell of a man there. His eyes were kind of like red. They weren't really like, focused on anything particular. And at some points, of course, he is relaying like a terrible life story and all of the stuff. But it was just a little bit sad and maybe a little bit creepy that sometimes he just looked not well, we'll say. Okay, so this is where I thought it started to get real fucking interesting. This is really towards the end. Now, what facial expression do you think that she is making right there? If you can see it.
He looks kind of disgusted.
Disgust, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you caught that because it is a subtle one, especially because it's so small. But so, okay, at this point, so they were talking a little bit about religion, and now like a lot of people going through recovery, finding their higher power and all of this stuff. He's talking about being Catholic himself, but he's a very different flavor of Catholicism than Candace, who was just recently confirmed. And he's talking about right here that he's really glad that Pope Leo is incorporating so much social justice. And there are many things that I don't agree with Pope Leo about. And Candace narrows her eyes and then makes this face of disgust, which I thought was just beautiful because it's like, it's sort of a metaphor for how everybody, like this whole kind of infighting, everything that's going on is like, okay, well, Thomas Massie, you used to vote with us 91%. Now you're voting with us 79%. Now, my name is Inigo Montoya, prepare to die. Like, do we really? Like, he was cool with you. He just wasn't like going to sign the big, beautiful bill because there was a lot of fucking shit in it. You don't want to talk to him about it and see, is there anything you can take out? Like, oh, just get rid of him altogether. Oh, you got some dude? Do we know his name? We don't know his name. Okay, cool. Well, hello, Mr. Ed, like whoever you are, and your 4 friends, your cousin. Oh, okay. Oh, you just wandered in and you thought that it was speed dating. Okay. So just kind of interesting. So then I have a couple more. So now she says to him in number 17, let me see. Nope, that's a disgusted face. Number 17, where is that? Here, I want you to look at that face because it's definitely different than it was. Candace,
yeah. What's he saying now?
Okay, so at this point, Candace said, he's saying like, yeah, I'm Catholic, but I'm not like that kind of Catholic. I've been through my stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then right before this, Candace says to him, I really think you should go to confession. And now what does he do with his hand? He puts up the stop sign. Like, just stop that nonsense right there. He says, oh, don't worry. I've been to confession. And now Candace's eyes kind of widen and her face looks kind of like, like, fuck you. I said you should go to confession, not about shit that you did, whatever. Like, you're still talking shit and you're still saying that you don't agree with Pope Leo. You should think that he's the greatest. And so, but you also notice that those hands that were crossed over and were in a little bit more of a relaxed position, to me, I can see more tension in those hands now. And I think I only have 2 more. So they're done with that. He says, thank you, whatever. And now they're wrapping it up. Actually, I have 3 more. And he looks, now, okay, she has the I smelled something bad look on her face because they've just been talking about you should go to confession. And he's like, lady, I've already tried that shit. I got to just do me. Like, you have no idea. I've been through some shit, blah, blah, blah. But to me, I love this body language of his. He looks like a little kid sitting in the principal's office. He has like the smallest little shoulders and he's kind of slumped. Like, he really is just like broken. His hands all of a sudden have a lot of tension in them. And she looks kind of pissed at him. And although we tried to break some bread, there were some like weird little handshakes. It doesn't seem like these two are going to be hanging out next weekend. So, but he says very sincerely, thank you for having me in your home. And she's like, Hunter Biden, ladies and gentlemen. And then the last picture I have from is the very end where they go to shake hands, but I just want to show you, he totally reaches out for her hand, palm open in a vulnerable position. Here is my open hand for you. I want to initiate a handshake. And then look at her hand to him, and it's sort of reminiscent of Kiss the Ring. Do you see that, or am I just crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little bit Kiss the Ring. Now, they shake hands normally, but I'm just showing you like the beginning of these two coming together. You can see that a handshake isn't a handshake. There's very much like a different attitude about the handshake. And then one other thing that I wanted to talk about Candace a little bit more of a previous show, but using this photo. This one was kind of a shocker for me because we're all used to the pictures of him like naked with prostitutes, people who could very well be a little young, let's say, criminally young, and all the dirtbag shit of, doing stuff and being with people and everything. And this was like maybe the only moment. This was about in the middle of the show, and he mentioned his wife, and he got this really genuine Duchesne smile. And the Duchesne smile is sort of like the Tom Cruise smile. So there's like smiling without the eyes, and then there's like that crinkle face that you make when you're actually smiling. And so it's called a Duchesne smile, or like a genuine smile. And this is a genuine smile. He's got that crinkle, and he's showing off those brand new teeth that he's got. First of all, he looks a lot like his dad here. You can definitely see the Biden in him for sure right there. And he's showing off those teeth. And I'm sure we all remember the picture of him getting his teeth like filed off to get he had like the nubs to get caps or whatever that is when you get that kind of stuff. We all remember that selfie in the dentist chair. Do you remember that one where he had like the little stumps?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like that makes me like want to go brush my teeth right this second. Just like, oh my God, I can't imagine like gluing something onto my skull. Brush your teeth, kids, and don't use meth. But so he's showing off that like smile, and it made me remember, and I don't know if it was New York Post, but basically everybody was sharing this picture of him like looking his worst. And just thinking about this interview with Candace, where she's like, you know what, we gave you a lot of shit, but like, no offense, but like, you were just a crackhead. Like a lot of what you did wasn't really up to you. Like you were living this like crackhead lifestyle. And all of the stuff was just like screaming out to be able to control your own fucking life. And we all looked at you like, oh, you're just like this rich politician's kid. But really, you had a lot of hurt and a lot of loss and a lot of vulnerability. And then to have your laptop released, which, did you ever get that book by Marco Polo, the Biden laptop book? I had a copy of it and I lent it to my dear friend Randy. And that will be the last I ever see of it. Did he read it? Probably not. Is it propping up like a table at his house? Probably so. They're like $60 on eBay. Someday I'll probably buy another one. But it is the Hunter Biden laptop. You can get it on eBay. The author is Marco Polo. And there's a couple covers. I had the plain one, but there's another cover. I don't know if that means it's got more or less, but that's not the original cover, I don't think. And seeing the glut of horrors in this laptop and who this person was not at their best was really just like, it made you really not like him. But I was thinking about when I was seeing those like beautiful teeth, whatever, and thinking about like Candace really is objectively beautiful. I mean, you can just look at her and go, she's symmetrical, she's got beautiful skin, she's got great teeth, she's got shiny hair, she's thin, she's poised, she's fashionable. Like every metric you could put on beauty, Candace Owens objectively has. And thinking about how Donald Trump called her like the most vile person in America and made a fake like Time magazine cover with a picture of her. And it was very powerful because Candace told a story about that picture. Now the picture, she's got like some acne, she's got some like a crusty lip, she's got like a do-rag on like, or a bandana like on her head. I guess she said that she was like suffering hair loss at the time. And not her best photo, but like the Hunter Biden peg mouth thing, it was a selfie that ended up being shared with the world. So they really have like a lot of a parallel. And looking at the humanity of Candace and how like Trump was just being a petty little bitch. Like, oh, you don't like me anymore because I killed 150 fucking little kids and I didn't do what I said I would do and blah, 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 blah. Well, here's the most vile person in America. That's the most vile person in America? Not like all these murderers that we were talking about earlier, not anybody on the Epstein list, not, you know, people that have done like really vile things, like a mom in Tennessee who doesn't like you because you didn't do what you said you would do. Like that's the most vile person in America. And then to show that picture, like, aha, look how disgusting she is. And I loved it because Candace really, and she wasn't even like fighting for herself. It was really just like a moment of vulnerability where she's like, let me tell you about that picture. I had moved into this place and it was kind of fancy, I guess. And one day maintenance like knocks on the door and says like, we got to put some fans in and you have a water leak. And that turned into like a whole mold allergy. And she broke out and she was losing her hair. And she's like, I was so tired. And my cousin had to come and take care of me. And like, it was me at my worst. And when you don't feel well, that is like everything. Your health is like everything. You can't function. You can't be a part. You can't be a cog in the wheel of the machine of life. And like, luckily I found people that helped me do a detox diet and get all the mold, and I moved and all this stuff. But that picture to Candace is like this real like bookmark of something really significant in her life where she was just so low that she took a picture to commemorate it. Like in the picture, she's not trying to like be hot or anything. And it's just like to take that picture when you're feeling like shit and to have the president of the United States post that and call you the most vile person in America. using a picture of you when you were sick because you're not sucking his dick. It's like crazy. But I really see a lot of a parallel with Hunter Biden because like we all shared that picture of him with the stub teeth and like, oh, fuck that guy. And he's disgusting. And like, he did some disgusting stuff as a human being, very flawed, very, you know, whatever. A lot of bad things that were never prosecuted. We'll never know now. Daddy pardoned him for everything. All disgusting, vile fucking shit. But to make fun of him because he was getting fresh teeth, like, I think that was a little low for us. And like, make fun of him for all the shit in the Marco Polo book, because the receipts are all fucking there. It's really shocking. But to make fun of him because, you know, he was getting teeth or she had like a mold allergy, like I feel like we're just losing humanity. And I don't know, like the Hunter Biden interview to me was like, oh, darn, I really wanted her to go after him. I love when she gets the battle bun on and it's just like, and another thing, here's some receipts and here's some facts. I love that part of her, that honey badger thing. But I thought it was a really subtle indicator that maybe we're fucking healing, that maybe we do have the ability to just be human with one another. And like those 3 kids that beat up the one guy, like maybe we need to be done with that kind of chapter where we go after people because they're getting their teeth fixed. The guy's a fucking crackhead. He's losing his fucking teeth. Like, have some humanity. Let him get his teeth, and then I'll fucking go after him again for some other crack pipe bullshit where he's like got prostitutes draped over him, or he's, you know, getting a foot job from some fucking little thing in Thailand or whatever the hell. That book is a horror show. So I don't know. And I don't even think that has anything to do with me being blackpilled. I'm just like so sick of this whole Karen culture thing where we're all just like petty cunts, like out for blood. Pammy says Trump has a tendency to be a petty narcissist. And I don't even mind that. Like, I love a little bit of petty country. I think it's kind of festive. I grew up with a pack of drag queens in Hollywood, going to sex clubs. So it's not like I think that we should all be prim and proper. A good little insult here or there can be very effective. But like, if that's all you got, like you're going to cancel everybody that doesn't slurp your shit and go hire some nameless dude. Massie's out. You're only 79% sucking my dick and you used to be 91. Out. Next. Straight to jail. No soup for you. Like, I feel like this is what we made fun of the left for and why a lot of us left the left behind. Like, okay, you can, like with music, you can like this band and you can dress like this and you can wear this and you can do that. But like, if you like that band, like, never mind. They're not even punk. Like, chill the fuck out. And it's like at every step of these like super stupid rules, like we realized that the left was being like fascist about like so much stuff. Like, dude, you like my body, my choice, except like you want me to wear a diaper over my face because like your vaccine didn't help you. And I'm just like trying to go to the grocery store, but you have Oreos in your cart. Like, it just was too much and it didn't make sense. And I would love to say that there's like an evil side and the good side, but now we kind of see that like everybody's sort of out of control. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to get our shit together. That's sort of the Candace story, I think. But I know a lot of people don't like her. They say that she's, you know, crazy, unhinged, blah, blah, blah. And certainly there's plenty that she could have ripped into Hunter Biden about. But I think that's kind of the point. I think the point is that you could have ripped into him, but instead just see him as a fucking human being and let the law take care of the legal shit that may or may not have been fucking documented. Or it's just, you know, his daddy pardoned him and we all just have to fucking walk away. Just like we're all walking away from the whole Epstein thing. Epstein, are we still talking about that guy? So, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't the battle that we had come for. But I think that was kind of a good thing. So I don't know if this is going to be like a new brand of hers. Certainly she didn't seem very comfortable with the scenario. But we'll just see. We shall see. So, oh, you put not a crackhead on your thing, and I was going to put crackhead under me. but didn't. Anyway, it was a good time. So tomorrow night is my housewarming, and I really should have. I know Pammy said she wanted to go through I still have stuff to do down there. I have like old B-movie posters that have to go up. I've got plumbing to do. People are coming. The pizza's ordered. Like, I'm fucked. But anyway, once they come, the paintbrush goes down and let's party. I have so much junk food. I can't wait for all the garbage down there. I went to Trader Joe's today and I bought something called shrimp chips.
What?
I don't know. I'm going to make Marie eat the first one, though. That's what I'm going to do. I took the hit last time. It was disgusting.
Yeah, what was it you ate? It was so gross.
It was called sweet chili, but it tasted like that sickly sweet dumpster, like trash thing combined with like old dog farts. It was really, it was not the two great tastes that taste great together. Let's put it that way. So Marie's going to take the hit on this one. She's going to try the shrimp chips. And, but hopefully it's a fun party. We'll see how many people show up. Hopefully nothing gets broken or I'll cry because I've spent a lot of time getting this shit together. So thanks everybody for spending Friday night with us. Rod, as always, it's super fun to hang out with you. Wish you were coming to my party tomorrow.
I know. I wish I could go.
Yeah. Hope you and Mariposa have an awesome party. So Pammy, I actually made a sign that says like mind the rabbit or something because, I think I have it here. Because she's free roam and I don't want to put her in a cage for the party just because. Oh, I do have some pictures. I printed out pictures because what I'm going to do is put these pictures out so you can see how disgusting it used to be. And like, can you believe that the bar used to look like that? Compared to what it looks like now. And I only printed out befores because obviously people are going to be standing in front of it tomorrow. And when I was sleeping in my living room, or that's my dining room, when I was sleeping in the seance dining room and everything was dirty and fucking weird. So I gotta, and then like, okay, do I show this one? You could do a 5-minute live from your phone tomorrow. I could. Do you not understand that I don't even have plumbing right now, sir? Do I show this one or is this going to make all my guests leave?
Yeah, I might not show that one.
Don't let them know the mold that was beneath everything. Anyway, Pammy, just to show you, says, beware, silent bunny underfoot. Watch your step. With a cute picture of her because actually with bunny body language, you can see that she looks very annoyed there. I like bunny body language. It's very subtle. Okay. I got to release some pills over on Pilled. And hey, Ghost Pepper. Okay, let me release the pills. Sorry. I think you have to do it before anything happens. I wish that it was automatic. It should be. This is basically the most exciting part. Where is it? How do I do this? Hey, Ghost Pepper, I think I made you a moderator. Can you release the pills? Maybe? Because I don't know how to do it. Oh, gold pills there. And then do I set a raid? I don't know these things. Blah, blah, blah. Cool. Click the arrows, share the show. Thank you, much love. I don't know if that's to me or if I can set a raid. But if I could set a raid, I will set it. All right. Too much back-end shit. Y'all have a wonderful and safe weekend. Thanks, Pammy. And thanks, Rod. I will not be on this planet tomorrow. There is cleaning to do and all kinds of other shit. But then I'll be around. Actually, no. I'm driving the fire truck in a parade for Memorial Day. And I don't know. I have a lot of stuff to do. Probably cleaning. Probably eating 17 leftover pizzas. Oh, what will I do with myself? All right. Love you guys. And I will see y'all next weekend.